reading from the first letter of Paul to the Corinthians. When I came to you, brothers and sisters, proclaiming the mystery of God, I did not come with sublimity of words or of wisdom, for I resolved to know nothing while I was with you except Jesus Christ and Him crucified. I came to you in weakness and fear and much trembling, and my message and my proclamation were not with persuasive words of wisdom, but with a demonstration of spirit and power, so that your faith might rest not on human wisdom, but on the power of God. The Word of the Lord.
Our second reading on this Sunday is taken from the first letter of Paul to the Corinthians. We have been reflecting on good deeds as a testimony to God's presence and action in our lives. This is clearly stated in the first reading from Isaiah, where the good deeds of people would bring light to people in darkness, and by that light, brought about by the good actions done by Israel to other people, especially the poor and the oppressed, these people walking in darkness will finally see God. Through the good deeds, they will see God. In the second reading, St. Paul explains his very public ministry. St. Paul is a proclaimer, a preacher of the good news. Now, that is a good deed. That is good work being done by St. Paul. And he is one of those figures that up to now has been doing this good work for us. He must have died more than almost 2,000 years ago, but his words continue. His good work continues through his writings left to us. We read the writings, we hear the writings, so as it were, St. Paul continues doing his good work of proclaiming the good news. But we learn a lesson from St. Paul. His good work does not end in himself. In his good work, people see the light, but definitely the light of the gospel, the light that will lead them to Jesus Christ and the Father who sent Jesus Christ in the power of the Holy Spirit. St. Paul teaches us a very delicate lesson in good deeds, good works that will lead people to God rather than to ourselves. The secret of St. Paul is this: he proclaims Jesus, only Jesus. That is clear to him. He should not proclaim himself. So in his good work, in his very public and visible mission, he does not bring himself. He brings Jesus. And so his proclamation, which is the bringer of light, becomes a testimony to Jesus rather than a pointer to Paul. So Paul describes his mission. He says, he comes to people with fear, with a full knowledge of his weaknesses. He feels trepidation. He feels this trembling within him as he does his good work. He knows who he is. He is not the light. He is not the good news. He is a poor bearer of the good news. So he does not come to people bearing human wisdom, human rhetoric. He does not come to people to impress them with his wise argumentation. In other words, he does not come doing his good deed of proclaiming Jesus using or employing the means of the world. No. He brings Jesus and his gospel in its purity. His focus is on Jesus and the gospel, not himself. This is very important as we understand the theme, good deeds as a testimony to Jesus and to God. It is easy to fall into the temptation of doing good deeds in order to be known, in order to become famous. Oh, we are all familiar with that. When election time comes, many of the candidates do good deeds. They give rice, they give scholarships, oh, they even repair houses. And we hope it is not in order to draw people to themselves. Doing good deeds is an honorable thing. But we also have to ask, why are the good deeds being done? Are they simply a light to make people see God? Or is it a means to draw them to myself? St. Paul was very clear. His good work of proclaiming the gospel is not meant to promote himself. It is really a testimony, a witness to the presence of Jesus in people's lives.